starting off from scratch, like you don't have no places, no nothing, you just moved to Atlanta. Like the first like month, what are you doing?
Closed mouth don't get fed. The minute you saying, I want to be a producer, that means you're a salesman. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen some people try to force it for years and still don't got the household name.
So what are like turnoffs that's like, bruh, hell nah, block, go out of here?
One producer told me that there was a particular record that he did and they cleared the record, but they wanted 100% of the record.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. It's your boy TB. Today we got JB. And then we got long overdue interview. I ain't gonna cap. We supposed to be knock this one out, but we got Fuse at 808 Mafia.
What's going on, my brothers?
What's up with you, bro?
Everything blessed. Happy to be here.
Yeah, bro.
Long overdue, that's for sure.
No cap, bro. You got a hard ass, I'm talking about track list lineup, bro. We got Big Sean Move, Hella Future and Young Thug, Rapid Records, Group Home, Real Love, Zoom for the Game, Cowboy, G Herbo, Moneybag, Logic, Rick Ross, probably my favorite one from you for real. Lil Durk, Meek Mill. Let's start from the beginning, like where you from, how you got started making beats and stuff like that.
So originally from New York. I was born and raised in the Bronx and also in Roosevelt, Long Island. Pretty much I would say I was always into music my whole life, but I would say in my days of like being in Long Island, like when my mother lived at, I hung around a lot of producers. I was into doing music, but it wasn't producing. You know what I mean? I was just like, rapping, freestyling, battle rapping, New York shit. Really not even taking it serious, just doing it. But like I said, because I was into rapping, I just hung around producers, and that's pretty much like, watching them make beats all the time, kind of feeling like, oh, I could do that too. See, that's me. I'm Mr. like, oh, I could do that too. So just watching them make beats, but like, oh, I gotta try that out. So that's all it really was.
So what you started out on FL, MPC?
Nah, on the MPC, my boy Biz Beats, I would say he had I'm trying to think, what was it? I don't know if he had the 5,000. The 5,000, around the time the 5,000 came out, he had others before that, but whenever the MPC 5,000 came out, I remember like we both looked at it like it was a Porsche, you know what I'm saying? Like just the shape of it, the aesthetic of it, and just the workflow. He just made it look real easy. So that I remember there'll be times like I'll be in a room with him and he would just get up from the MP, probably just go check on his kids or run to the store real quick and just leave me right there. And I'll just be staring at it like, man, start hitting the pads. Like, all right, let's see, you know what I mean? Just watching what he did over there trying to emulate it, you know what I'm saying? So I would say him, and that's where I started with. But then my homeboy Zay, he worked on Reason. So he kind of like schooled me how to use Reason. I used to nag him like, yo, teach me how to use Reason. Teach me how to use Reason. And then one day he just gave me a laptop. It was like, yo, listen, do this. And then I just pretty much trial and error, just trying it every day.
So you went from MPC to Reason, then the FL Studio?
I mean, I went from MPC to Reason to Logic. And how I got to Logic is like I was telling bro earlier when I first got here, that I stayed in Virginia, in Petersburg for like a couple months. And out there, me and my brother Nick, we was trying to like open up a studio, start a studio, something like that. And my boy C Slash. And all I know is that we had a computer there, we had a piano, we had all of that, but we didn't have like no DAWs to really work with except Logic. That was the only thing on the computer. So I was forced to use Logic and learn how to use Logic. So I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. So I got to learn how to use Logic. And then after Logic, I used to incorporate, like I would make my melodies in Logic, export them, and then manipulate them in Reason and do my drums in Reason. And then I was just on that until I crossed over to FL.
So from like you being from New York, I already know like sampling is huge for you feel me? So like what was your inspirations?
I was a big fan of like Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? Mobb Deep. So of course RZA was the Wu-Tang producer, then Mobb Deep had Havoc, Alchemist and stuff like that. Of course J Dilla. I think that's like any samplers, like OG right there. Looked up to some J Dilla, Q-Tip, of course Kanye, of course Just Blazes and Bink. You know what I mean? There was a lot of people who just knew how to just chop those samples up, make it fire. So I had a lot of inspiration, but if I had to just pick one, I would just say more like J Dilla at the top. And the only reason I say that is because he just did things differently. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could actually, like, try to dissect some of the stuff he did and you be like, how? You know what I mean? But as to other producers, you could listen to a record that they might have sampled. You be like, oh, that's the piece they use. Oh, that's how they pieced that together. But some Jay Dilla stuff, I'd be like, how did he piece that together? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I still don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, taking different records, samples from different records, pieces, and making it one beat. Like, I never did all of that. It's just, you know, grab a loop, add your drums. He's taking drums from other records, and he was just different with it. Yeah.
It's totally different. It's just a loop now. I mean, it's still a form of sampling, but do you feel like sampling now is kind of like a dying art, low key, or like, even though loops are still like, if you get a loop and you know put drums on it, like I guess it's still sampling, like the original form where you chopping up a sample using vinyls. You feel like that's dying?
Not really, because there's a lot of producers that still do it. So I'm like in the middle of like the young and the older. So the older crowd of producers that I know, they all still sample. They still like adamant on using records. They don't even want to get us a loop from a up and coming producer or anything like that. And I know like for the younger generation, it's more like microwave. You know what I mean? Yo, send me the loop. I'm gonna add this to it. Boom, it's done. You know what I mean? So I kind of like it the way it is now. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when you sample in a record, it's still kind of the same, but it's like when you sample in a record from somebody, it's like it's going through so many channels of getting cleared. You know what I mean? And it's just like some people might not even want to clear it. Now you gotta go through the whole remake, or they might have to pull the record. When you're dealing with somebody who created a sample and y'all got a relationship, you know what I mean? I think the business is just a little bit easier. Now as for it, do I feel like it's watered down? Not really. I just don't, this is just a personal thing when it comes to sampling. I'm not into the whole loop, just loop it and then add the drums. I kind of like chops. You know what I mean? When you take pieces from the record and manipulate it and make it something. I think literally anybody could just loop. You know what I mean? Records like DJs were doing that. Like just catch a loop and just have it loop. Like I feel like anybody could do that. And ain't nothing wrong with people who do that. Like I don't knock literally nobody. I did it, you know what I'm saying? But I just didn't feel as creative when I did it. That's all. But when you have a loop that somebody gives to you now and you just add drums to it, it's kind of like the same thing, right? But I just feel like it's a composition that somebody created that the world necessarily doesn't have access to. You know what I'm saying? So usually when a record is placed off of a loop and somebody who add drums to it, is more or less like the first time you're gonna hear that, unless you know that loop maker sent that loop out to other producers and it gets placed in their version. Yeah, but it usually comes off like one-offs, opposed to, you know, somebody saying, "Oh, I know a record he used," and they could go to that record and sample it too.
It's kind of crazy because, like, bro, y'all just think about 5-10 years ago when if a producer sat down with a pianist, you know what I'm saying, and they went and they made a melody, and if we went to Purity, changed it to a pad, and had that pianist do a pad melody on top of that, and then we came behind them and we add the drums, how is that different than getting a loop, than somebody making a loop or sending it to you? How different is that?
Well, when you're actually in the room collectively creating it, opposed to somebody sending it to you?
I mean, even like back then, if the pianist just played it and sent it to you, like it'd be the same thing. I just feel like it's like,
No, I feel like it's a difference.
It's a difference.
It's a difference though, cause when you got a loop, bro, it's like it's not all loops though. But I'm just saying, like a sample, like you got that vinyl feel. You feel me? It's like different feels you get with it, like that instrumental feel. You feel me? Like I feel like that's why like Frank Duke samples popped off the way they did.
It's about what you're looking for.
Oh, you talking about like using real analog samples?
Yeah, cause they feel like samples. Yeah. Like if you listen to it, if you ain't look at the name of it, but you just listen to it, you be like, damn, what record this is? Whole time, it's just a
digital samples and analog samples. Like fuck the digital one. That was just
I ain't saying that. I'm just saying like it's that feel though.
It's just a different sound. Like you said, it's a feel, it's a sound. Like, you know, there's a little. Clearly, there's a difference between analog and digital.
W's really making that shit. Like VSTs is digital, so it's really.
But you can still do it.
But certain VSTs be trying to like emulate analog. If you get what I'm saying, like, let's just say, look, like hypothetically, there's a record you might sample and it might have like that static grit to it. You know what I mean? Now there's like you could take that same sample you created and throw it through like a certain VST, and it's gonna give off that same grit as if you got it off a record. Like they have certain things like that, but I feel like, keep it authentic. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're just gonna sample some shit, sample it. If you wanna not sample and just use a loop, use a loop. You know what I mean? Like do what's easier for you, what's best for you.
So are you like collabing with producers heavy when it comes to like them sending you melodies and stuff?
Yeah, I've been doing that since way back. I've been doing that since before it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd just be like, I remember I'd just be in the studio, like, and, I had like dudes that used to play piano and melodies and stuff like that. And it'll be like, they might not have the best drum work. I always prided myself on my drums. I grew up playing drums. So it's just like, I always just prided myself on drums. But I'll be like, you should let me do the drums to that. You know what I mean? They'll be like, all right, you know what I mean? Then by me doing that, they'll be like, dang, he did something I wouldn't have thought of doing. So they'll just turn into that. And plus, like these melodies they be coming up with, I wouldn't think of it. So that's how it just be starting, like, cool. And then like, gotta think like now, this is really like, do people still do paid collabs?
Hell yeah.
They do?
People live out them shit.
Oh, for real? All right. So the only reason I was just asked because, there was a point in time where it was like, to collab with somebody, you had to pay for that. You know what I'm saying? But now we're in the world where it's like, oh, I got loops. What's your email? You send it to that, and next thing you know, you're collabing with a producer without having to pay for it, which is like, damn, the game kind of changed, and I seen it happen. But it's really up to like the producer's discretion. You know what I mean? Some producers are like, oh, I'm not using nobody's sample. Like really how it really go, like a lot of producers nowadays got their own sample makers. They got people signed to them, you know what I mean, that they getting exclusive loops from, because there's been so many situations where we don't know because we're not the sample makers, some of us, you know what I mean? So if you give us a pack of samples or a pack of that, you know what I mean, melodies, we don't know you're giving it to other producers. I mean, you know what I mean? At least not the same ones in that pack. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to think like, if you give me a loop and, let's just say Airway Mafia as a group, you know what I'm saying? You create melodies. You give a pack to Fuse. Then you give a pack to Trey Pounds. Then you give a pack to Southside. You give a pack to TM. We all like these melodies. It's not like we're all together every day. Like, oh, you got those same melodies? No, we all separate and we're all making beats to these melodies. And then we're all working with the same artists. You know what I mean? So if Future's like, yo, I'm in the studio, I need some beats. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna send this joint that me and JB did. And then Southside like, I'm gonna send this joint me and JB did. It might turn out to be the same loop. So it kind of makes us look stupid. You know what I mean? And I get it like in the sense of like sampling. Like anybody could just sample the same record, right? And you just get it from multiple producers, same sample, it's gonna sound different. But the difference is, like I say, when people send you melodies, there's not much manipulation being done. It's just add the drums to it. So you just kind of getting the same melody, different drums. And if you're getting it from the same group of producers, the drums are not gonna be too far off. They probably gonna sound similar. So in those instances, it's just smarter for people like us to sign producers and be like, yo, listen, make sure these are exclusive for us. And you know what I mean? And I feel like it's better like that. But when it comes to like paying for the collabs, I feel like a lot of producers, like I said, would just close that door and be like, well, I'm not gonna work with you unless, you pay this. Because so much opportunity comes from working with certain producers through collabs. So that's why when I was like charging people for collabs, I already knew what it was. I already knew I had the connects. I already knew I was gonna be changing certain people's lives, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like there was no wrong in them paying for it. But I feel like it's just a little bit easier now because the loop game is so saturated that people are just sending it and people are just working with people. So that's why I asked you, like, are people still doing that? But I guess people are.
I feel like that shit underrated now though. Cause now it's like, okay, everybody send loops. So it's like, you probably get hella loop emails, but how many like people do you hit up like, hey, I got a band for a collab? You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
That's underrated.
That really devalued that.
What?
Everybody just send it because
I don't think it do.
Because producers literally, they say like, bro, this is real vocabulary of producers, and I've heard this multiple times. Hey, bro, it's collab. This is how much it costs to collab. Bro, I thought we were just gonna collab and make money off it. What do you mean you thought?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about? So it's like, I feel like the loops being sent around is Xing out the fact that somebody even has a brand or has the relationships and has the A&Rs under them. It just X's all that out. It's like, I don't care what you got, what business you got set up, use that. Make me rich. I feel like this devaluing. Yeah. No disrespect to the loop creators. I know that's exactly how it sounds, but that type of interaction is devaluing producers itself. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
See, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying, like, as far as, like, collabs, I'm saying as far as, like, collabs, like, everybody sending out collabs is a quick way to stand out is, hey, you know, Fuse, I fuck with you. I got 1,000. Let's get a collab in. You'll probably respond to that more than you'll respond to screen recording of a loop. You feel me? That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. But I just feel like there's more of a response. Like if somebody pays me for a collab and, you know, I don't look at it as a jug just to get money. I look at it like, all right, this person paid me for opportunity. So I always make sure those are in the circuit of the beats that I send out, opposed to just random, you know, loops that I get and just make beats to and just throw it to the side. And if I happen to play it, I happen to play it. But I feel like there's a little bit more of a responsibility on my end. Like I said, this is just how I operate. You know what I mean? Like when people pay me for something, I feel like I gotta hold up my end. That's just me.
So what are you looking for, like, in samples? When you're listening to samples and loops, like, what are you listening for?
Something different, man. I always look for, like, all right, so I love music. Like, I'm a fan of music. I am a listener of music. So it's no different from listening to the radio or somebody just, you know, being in the car with somebody and you listening to something you never heard. When something hits you, when something grabs you, you be like, what's that? Yeah, what song is this? You know what I mean? So those are the kind of samples I look for that just grab my attention. You know what I mean? Like immediately. And then I have my modes where if I'm working on a certain artist project, then I'm definitely looking for a certain type of sound in the samples that I work with. Like if I'm working on R&B, I'm looking for R&B type stuff opposed to just, you know, trap or just erratic sounds that people put together. But I love when it's orchestrated, like pianos, guitars, you know, live sounds. I love stuff like that. Clean mix on it, you know. I love like when it's arranged. When they, like, or you don't even have to be arranged into how they feel like it should be, but you know, just where you could just arrange it yourself. They give you the option opposed to just one loop with all the sounds playing. You were like, damn, I wish I could take this one sound out. So when they give you that option, it's like, oh, all right, cool. This is, you know, they'll send it to you with every sound just by itself.
So what are like turnoffs? That's like, bruh, yeah, nah, block, go out of here.
Man.
Go ahead, get to it.
Telling me how fire you are. I don't know how to respond to that. It's like, you're telling me how fire you are. It's cool, but like some people think they're better than what they are. And that's just a real thing. Small level and high level. So I just feel like just send your stuff. That's it. I mean, I leave my email there for a reason. It's right there on my profile, on my IG. Just send it. I'm gonna check it. Trust me, if it's crazy, if it's fire, it's just like anybody else. I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna hit you up. You don't gotta convince me. You don't gotta tell me like, yo, my stuff is fire. Yo, please, download that pack. I'm telling you, the whole pack is crazy. It's movies. Like, I'll get to it when I get to it, dog. If it's movies, trust me, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm like, yo, you sent me some movies. That's it. Like, you don't gotta sit there and just try to force me to check your stuff out.
So getting back to like sampling, I seen you posted on Twitter. You was like, hey, you saw your splits on the sample record. You ain't never sampled anything.
Yo,
talk about that.
Man, it's crazy. I don't gotta get into what record it is, but it was just like, the thing is this, like, I sample records before, but I guess the ones that I had placed in my history, they just were like mixtapes. So you don't go through the channels of actually having to clear it or go through the label or anything like that. So I would say this was my second sample record. The first one went kind of smooth because I was able to contact the people who actually, the record that we sampled, I was actually able to contact them and we was able to talk it out and come up with something that made sense before they even sent the paperwork. But when it came to the second one, it was just like, whoa, they want how much of the record? And you know, this is the thing, like a lot of people don't know. Like you can hear a record on the radio, you be like, oh, I know that record. Oh, they sampled this and this. You know what I'm saying? And you might hear the radio. I mean, you know, the song being played millions of times. You might think like, yo, this person rich off this record, but you gotta think like, if your percentage is small, you're really not making that much money off the record. You know what I'm saying? And it's all at the end of the day, it's about percentages.
That's why I feel like that shit underrated as far as like making samples. Like he just said it. Like producers want to like sample records that, you know what I'm saying, sound like samples. Y'all want to chop samples, but it's like the splits and that sample clearance is hell. So I feel like producers, like if you want to hop into a lane and connect with somebody, make those old school type samples, you know what I'm saying? Look up those Frank Dukes QB tutorials and find out how to make those vinyl type sounding samples, and the whole time it's better for you because let's say I give you a sample, like, damn, what record this is? Now I made that shit myself. You gonna use that because you know it ain't no crazy sample clearance split or none of that. You know what I'm saying? Just some regular like loop shit. You feel
Absolutely.
me?
Yeah, I just didn't like the split. So I was just like, I had to think about it. And I had discussions with other producers about certain splits that they had, you know what I mean, with certain records that they did. And a lot of them told me some crazy stories, man, like crazy stories. I remember one producer told me that there was a particular record that he did, and I think that they didn't want to give up. They cleared the record, but they wanted 100% of the record.
Trevor.
And the artist was willing to let that slide. The producer was like, hell no. So he went and remade the beat. And when he remade the beat, they actually picked the remake of the beat. But see, that's the thing. That takes a different type of mindset. Like that's GOAT mentality. Like, nah, hold on. You're not gonna jerk me. I'm about to go make this beat over, and I'm gonna get 100% of this. You know what I'm saying? Instead of no, you know what I'm saying? Clearly, that's where he went from 0% to his whole 100. Cause he made the beat by himself when he remade it. So
if you did go through with it, let's say it's like it's a crazy play. The song is too good, and if you do go through with it, like cool, they can get 100. What's some ways that you would like be able to recoup your bread outside of that royalty check?
Like if you took if they put a record out and they took all of it,
yeah.
I mean, the benefit of that, there's really only one benefit that I see, is if you just let them take the whole record and that record is a single and that record just blows up, like it's just out of here. You're still the producer of that record. So at the end of the day, that is just gonna bring you clients. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just throwing it out there. Like, if you, let's just say it's a Drake record. Drake is, you would say, is one of the top artists in the game right now, like, hands down. So let's just say Drake uses one of your beats, but he was a sample. They don't want to clear it, but they said they want 100 to clear it. Drake is like, I still want to put it on my album. Fuck. It's a Drake record. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a single, you know it's going to be on the radio going crazy. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, everybody's going to be like, who produced that? They're going to check the credits. They're going to see it says JB. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be hitting you up. Yo, JB, I need a record like you gave that Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just heard that joint you did for Drake, man. That joint going crazy. Like, it turns into money in other ways, but it's just about the mindset of the producer. You know, some producers be like, nah, I need my bread. Nah, I need my chicken. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some niggas will, you know, block themselves out of their own shit. You know what I'm saying? They be in their own way.
Most of us only got one way though in this industry. We only got one quarterly check.
That's why, you know, in this music industry, they've been telling you, like, you gotta have other sources of income. You can't solely depend on just quarterly checks unless you just a hit maker.
Okay.
Like, if you ain't a hit maker, I don't care if you were on 10 albums last year. If they not hits, it don't mean nothing. Like, it really don't. Like, status-wise, yeah, your resume, yeah, but trust me, I know. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta lie.
Yeah.
I know a lot of producers, a lot of them, practically all of them, and everybody ain't up. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people were just smart with their money and had other sources of income, but a lot of people, they ain't just live off of just quarterly checks.
I was watching CLA Wu. It was like a Monte Booker stream. He was like, bro, it's not that much money in the industry like that. You feel me? Like, it's money if you getting like hit, like number 1, number 2, number 3 back to back. But like, if you really want to like pocket, bro, you gonna have to go outside that shit for real.
There's money for artists. Cause you can do features, you know what I'm saying? You could do shows, you could tours, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But producer, there's only one hat. You make the beat. That's it. So it's like,
You wear a couple though. You vice president, 808 Mafia.
yeah, I wear a couple hats, but you know, like I said, everybody ain't gonna be blessed with these opportunities and to be in these certain positions.
So let's backtrack a little bit. You in New York, you making beats. Like walk us from there to you getting your first like major placement.
All right, so I'm in New York. I was a full-time engineer at a studio. I had a couple dudes that I used to kick it with. You know, they made beats and stuff like that. I think they was more into it than I was, but you know, it was just ironic. You know, my boys, they used to watch like Lex Luger and Southside on YouTube and stuff like that. I was never that guy who watched like other people on YouTube. I would. Let me not say I wouldn't. I wouldn't watch producers necessarily. I watch like other sources of motivation, like watch Kobe or Allen Iverson or Jordan or something like. But that's how I get motivated. But they used to watch a lot of that, and I used to see it, and that's how I got kind of familiar with just the whole sound of what was going on in Atlanta and who was like kind of like stamping it, you know what I'm saying, with the whole 808 Mafia, Lex Luger stuff. And I had a homeboy who was like out in Atlanta, and he was around Southside, Waka, stuff like that, just a mutual friend. And he rapped. So he used to just be like, yo, send me some beats. Because, I was dabbling with the beats. And I used to send him beats. And he used to hit me up like, yo, Waka did a song to one of your beats last night. I'd be like, all right, that's cool. That's what's up. I never got too excited about much. But I remember it was like one day he called me and he was like, hey, Southside want to holler at you. So I was just like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right, whatever. So I had him on speakerphone, which was kind of crazy because like I said, the homies that was at the studio, they used to watch him on YouTube. You know what I mean? So to have him on speakerphone, they were like, oh shit, like Southside is on this nigga phone right now. Southside was like, yo, you fire. He said, yo, I need you part of the mob. Like, I need you in the A. And I was just like, all right. So I don't know how other people would have operated, but I just packed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I don't know. I just looked at it like, all right, this is an opportunity. And plus, I ain't gonna lie, like, I was from New York, but I just felt like at the time New York was just like dry. You know what I mean? Wasn't really nothing for me out there. And I took that leap of faith. I came to the A, but it was crazy. I came to the A, but I only came for like a week. And then I left. And then I remember Southside hit me up like, bro, you're not supposed to leave. You're supposed to stay. Like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, all right. So that's when I was just like, yo, fuck it. I quit the studio, packed up my shit from my apartment, and went back. I was like, all right, now I'm really about to, you know what I mean, lock it in out there. Went to the A, and my first placement, well, maybe not to y'all, but to me, was I remember I got to the A, and within that first week, maybe like the third day of me being here, Waka was like, yo, we going to Patchwork. So that was, big for me, because especially coming from New York, I wasn't too familiar with too many big studios. You know what I mean? I already knew like the quads and stuff in Manhattan, but I wasn't around that. That's in Manhattan, you know what I mean? So I knew about Patchwork, and I knew it was like legendary. So just going there, I was just like, oh, wow, Patchwork. But as soon as we got there, I think we was in the B room. We walked in, and Gucci Mane was in there. And we sat down, and we was just chilling. Then engineer would like press play, hit the space bar, and my beat was playing. I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Then Gucci just went in the booth and just literally just like damn near one take, the whole shit just went crazy. And I was just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I just tapped Waka on the leg, and I'm like, yo, I made that beat. Then Waka was like, well, word. Then I remember he like, yo, Gucci, yo, Fuse made that. And then like Gucci was like, oh, all right, that shit hard. So I was just like, wow, like that fast. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't thinking like it'll move that fast. Cause like I said, my boy told me like, yo, Waka, use your beat, or Woo, use your beat, but I didn't hear the songs. So I couldn't really get too hyped. It was just like, oh, he used the beat. But I got to physically see a notable rapper use a beat of mine. So I was just like, oh, this is lit. So that's just pretty much for me, that was my first placement happening in front of my eyes. But my first placement song to come out was a Waka record. It was called Short Fuse, ironically, right? Yeah.
Bruh, that nigga said, I'm so mad I missed that era, bruh. Like, that whole Gucci Man era in Atlanta, man. That shit Man,
It was really
bro.
lit. The whole Brick Squad movement, like, it was different, man. It was definitely experience for real.
So when did Southside like make it official? He was like, "Hey, bro, let me sign you."
As soon as I got to the Atlanta, literally, like, you know what I mean? But what I liked about it was, like, Sizzle didn't make it easy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't know, like, the ins and outs or how things go down or anything like that. But it was like, Sizzle didn't hand nothing to me. Like, it wasn't like, yo, this is Fuse, yo, work with this nigga or nothing like that. It's not like he was bringing me to sessions or anything like that. Like, he really just handed me a spare, told me to go into the fucking woods and come back with a fucking, wolf jacket or something, like fur jacket and shit. So I was just like, all right. So that's pretty much what it was for me. I think he handled everybody in the group differently. But for me, it was just more or less like, yo, Fusion, go out there and get it. Just, that's it. Just go get it. So that was my mentality. I had to come out here and just shake. But the thing about it was, coming from New York, I still had a New York sound. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was different. It's not like they didn't fuck with it. It was just like, I don't know how everybody else gonna fuck with it if I put this out. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find a way to incorporate my style with my new family style, 808 Mafia type shit. So pretty much I just had to infuse it together.
Can you give us a few pieces of game from Southside?
I would be real. Southside's my brother. Our relationship is more like family. Like when we around each other, we talking about family shit, like real life shit. It's not even about music. We rarely talk about music unless it's like business shit that we have to talk about, but it's more or less like family. So like when we talk, I'm getting a different type of advice. It's not always music advice, but a lot of things that I learned just from watching him, I'll say, that I picked up on game was like work ethic, crazy. Like that man, like now I catch up on sleep. You know what I mean? I'm in a position to. But there was a point where I was just like, damn, how he don't sleep? Like he going 3 days straight, just beat after beat after beat after beat after beat. And then like, of course I could do that now because niggas is sending samples, niggas is sending loops. He's doing this from scratch. He's doing the melody like drums and next beat, melody, drums, next beat, melody, drums. Like, damn, this nigga crazy. So work ethic. But I seen Southside be at an all-time low. And I seen like him like not even let that shit phase him. Him using that as fuel to, get the crazy bounce. Like bounce back was crazy. Like y'all might not have been able to physically see that gap, but there was a gap where Southside was like going through a certain thing, but man, he persevered. Like that nigga, I learned a lot from just watching him. Outside of that, I like how he handled his business. Southside's very smart. You know what I mean? I think that's what he respects from me too. Clearly, well, I'll be a VP, right? But I just think I respect his mentality when it comes to business. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the type, like there's certain things that especially when you run in a company, there's certain things you could just get away with if people are just oblivious to it. You know what I mean? But he puts me on. Like, he's gonna tell me, like, yo, Fuse, don't do this, do that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, one of the biggest things I would say Southside has ever did for me was, like, plug me in with Future. You know what I'm saying? Because the way he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just remember, like, we was in the studio and we was, like, a bunch of people in the studio. Like, it was a session with Future. Southside was there. We just really just pulled up for Southside to, drop off some beats. So I was just chilling with him. So I was just on the couch and Sizzle was like, yo, I'm about to go run off to this Meek session. He said, you coming or you staying? You know what I mean? To me, I was just like, is that a real question? Like, you giving me an option? Because usually it's just like, yo, Fuse, tap me on the leg, arm, we out. And that's it, we just out. But that day, he was just like, you coming or you staying? I was like, shit, I'm gonna just Mac. You know what I mean? It took a lot because, I think Southside left him like a 6-pack. Future, when he would record to everything you bring him, especially with Sizzle. You know what I'm saying? So he recorded the whole 5-pack, 6-pack, whatever. I sat there through it, hours and hours of him recording. It went from like 30 people in the room to just me, Seth, and Future. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy. And I just remember like just playing beats for him and our relationship just got, we got tight from there. I guess he just fucked with the sound. and that's where it blossomed. But I just feel like still to this day, them records you hear, them Real Loves, the Group Homes, the St. Lucia, whatever, like that shit wouldn't have been happening if it wasn't for that day. That's just how I feel. Maybe it would have happened a different way, but I solely feel if he ain't leave me in that room, those records wouldn't have been where they at.
Bro, you got niggas watching this like, damn, I can't wait to motherfucking record Future or some shit, you feel me? So what have you picked up as far as like being in the room with artists and like just picking up like vibes or stuff not to do or stuff to pay attention to, like when you're in the studio with these people?
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a different personality, and pay attention to moods. You know what I'm saying? Some artists might come to the studio, they just might have been, arguing with they shorty, or, had some fucked up business going on, or something happened to one of their homeboys, and, their mindset might not be all happy, and, you know what I mean? You don't want to be doing too much, understand like you're there to provide a service. Everything else that comes after that, let them do that. Like if they want to crack jokes, let them crack the jokes. You don't got to crack the jokes. You know what I mean? If they want to be like, hey, you want to hang out? Let them be the ones to invite you. You don't got to be like, hey, can I hang with y'all? Yo, y'all going to the club? Yo, what club? I want to go with y'all. You know what I mean? You don't got to be like that. Just do what you came to do. All that other stuff going to come, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially if they fuck with you. But, personalities have to mesh, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say personalities. You have to really pay attention to that. A lot of ego. A lot of artists have egos. A lot of producers have egos. But, artists, they have egos. So sometimes you got to put yours to the side to let their ego fit the room. You know what I mean? Just at the end of the day, play that beat, get that placement, keep it moving.
Has there ever been a time where you had to like get in the chair and like do more than just produce, like engineer?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I used to full-time engineer, but it's so funny now, you couldn't even pay me to do that shit. I'm so removed from that. Man, I mean, I'll sit there and press 3. I think that's the only thing I remember. It's so crazy, like when you stop doing something, like how you could really forget that shit. But I used to record all the time, and I be having, like, even my own artists, they be like, yo, you think you could record me? Then I be like, yo, bro, I'm sorry, could you find an engineer? I'll pay that nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I ain't doing it.
So would you say like moving around the A back then is different now?
Same thing. Still got the hustles is still the same. Your pull-up game got to be strong. You got to show your face. You know what I mean? Like that was my downfall. I keep it real. Like I don't go out. I don't go to clubs. I don't hang with rappers. I don't hang with other producers. I don't do none of that. I just be in my own lane. And because of that, it makes my workload a little bit more because if I want to make connections, that means I physically have to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Opposed to like, if you just a person who goes out all the time, this shit just gonna fall in your lap sometimes. You just in the right place, right time. You're gonna bump into artists, you're gonna bump into other people, make connections like that. So I think if you're like me, a person who doesn't go out much or anything like that, I would say definitely get like a manager or somebody who is outside and active. But I feel like, definitely gotta be active, especially now, because there's so many new artists coming out. You know what I'm saying? You never know who's the next big star. So you wanna make sure you're working with everybody. You know what I mean? You don't wanna close yourself off and just work with this person over here, this person over there. I'm more of like, I wanna work with everybody. There's artists every day I don't know about that I get introduced to or I find out about, and I wanna work with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even about feeling like, I don't like his music, I don't want to work with him. You know what I'm saying? I might just not like that song, but me and him might, or me and her might create some music that, might really do something. So I don't just close people off based off a material or a song I don't like. I just feel like if we work together, we might potentially make something we all could like.
I'm put you in a scenario to get in more detail. Like you just moved to Atlanta today. You starting off from scratch, like you don't have no places, no nothing. You just moved to Atlanta. Like the first like month, what are you doing? Like, how you like what you?
All right, so what would I do now, or what did I do?
Nah, what would you do now? Like,
all right, so if I moved to Atlanta today, right now today, first thing over, I want to know where the studios are at. All the studios. I want to write them down. 11th Street, Patchwork, up to 12 studios, down to Like so many. I'll be forgetting the names of all of them, but we already know Atlanta has unlimited studios. Try to find all of them. Then I would say try to get in, meaning like intern, like at any one of these studios. That's first and foremost, especially if you don't know nobody, you don't got no connects or nothing, no access to nothing much. Go to these studios and find out how you could help them, how you can participate in the studio. Don't worry about trying to get to know artists. Don't worry about trying to get around nobody yet. Just try to get your feet cemented in a environment where you could actually produce these relationships. So that's what I would do. And then once I'm in the studio, man, like I'm connecting with everybody from the owner to the other interns to the engineers, everybody who walk in that building, because that's how you build your network. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, imagine, let's just say hypothetically, you know what I'm saying? Like it's you when you come to the Atlanta and this is your first month, first 2 months, whatever, and you're good at this studio. You know the engineers and people over there, and you know the engineers and people over there, and this studio over there. Like, because you have these relationships, especially if you're talented, like real gonna recognize real. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you talented, you know an engineer might be like, yo, I'm working with Herbo today. Oh, word, yo, I got a pack. Yo, I can send that to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how you build that relationship. This is basically using the people that you met through you making these certain moves for yourself, creating a network that's going to benefit your business. You know what I'm saying? And these are just certain steps that you want to take. You don't always want to go through people. You could do this stuff yourself. I know a lot of people like, for a rip, I need a manager. I need somebody that's going to, you know what I mean, connect me to everybody. I mean, managers are cool, but at the end of the day, ain't nothing better than like getting it out the mud yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because you can always get it out the mud yourself and then hire a manager later on to maintain what you got going on and to add value. But that doesn't have to be your first go-to. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like I say, I would come here, definitely try to connect with as many studios and as many people inside these studios as possible.
All right, so second scenario, I'm in goddamn the tip of Canada. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work with people in Atlanta. I'm trying to work with people in that circle. I can't get to that city, but I'm trying to work with those type of people. What should I be doing? Like, how should I move around as far as DM or on the internet? You know what I'm saying? Because you can only take someone so seriously with a DM. You feel me?
If I was a producer, and how I usually catch attention from producers, I should say, is usually through reposts. Meaning like, a person might do a video and it just went viral. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, like who's that? That's hard. You know what I mean? There's a lot of sample makers and loop makers that I not discovered, but when I say discovered, like found out about myself, like through social media because of, it might be like a producer. I know he might be drum heavy, so he might say, tag the other person who added the sample. I might be like, oh, damn, he made that sample. I might go to his page now. Oh, damn, he posted. A lot of people like to post their material on their profiles now. So, you start clicking on videos here, reels here, and you're like, oh, this is fire. So that's for me, though. That's how I will find people. But be heavy on social media. I think social media is like the biggest tool we have right now. That's how you connect with people everywhere. Because everybody's on their phone right there. Social media. So if you somewhere else that's not where it's going on at, I would say try to connect through social media and provide a service. Like, I don't know how other producers like connect with others, like especially like melody makers. A lot of them are like from overseas. At least the ones that I've worked with, a lot of them are not here in the US. And I feel like that is definitely a way to connect. You providing a service. You creating these melodies. You know what I'm saying? You're not sending me beats, full beats. You're sending me something that I could work with myself that we both could make something off of. So I think that's pretty much how you should do it. Kits are real big too. Like people who create kits, put their name to the kit. That'll help you get your name out there too, especially if you're from somewhere else. because everybody's always looking for new sounds.
We stay looking for kit makers. Someone who
Always.
got the drip, got the sauce, you feel me? So backtracking, so let's talk about you being the VP of 808 Mafia. Like, when did that come about? And when you got that position, like, what changed as far as, like, what are you doing now daily?
I think all that really changes that. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of people in this industry, I feel, they back to what I said, personality. Remember? So Southside might not have like the approachable personality to them. Some people are intimidated. They see the tattoos on the face, they see the serious face, you know what I mean? The entourage. They might be like, damn, you know, I can't talk to him, or I'm scared to talk to him. But not saying I'm any more approachable, but you know, I just feel like they warm up to me a little bit more, I guess, you know what I mean? So people like to talk to me. I get a lot of people be like, yeah, I was trying to talk to Southside, but you know Southside, so what we do, Fuse, you know what I mean? And they'll just be like, all right, well, I'm a holla at Sizzle, you know what I mean? It's a little bit more easier. But I think I'm more of a better middleman. That's what it is. And then when it happened for me, it happened at least like, I don't remember the date, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. But I know I was getting tatted when it happened. But I just feel like that's pretty much what it is. Like, you know, the business mind, I always see a vision for the mob. I don't look at myself as a star player. Not saying I'm not a star player. I just don't look at myself. I'm more of a team player. Anytime I talk to people about anything related to music, I want the crew to benefit. You know what I'm saying? It's always about the crew. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, there's gonna be opportunities that are just presented for me, myself, as for anybody else in the crew. But I'm always looking for how could we stay what we are 10 years from now? And then when we reach that mark, how can we get it to the next 10 years? You know what I'm saying? So it's just always about vision. And you gotta think, there's a lot of people who just produce. You know what I mean? Like they just here to cook up, make this money and make it pop. You know what I mean? They're not really necessarily worried about the ins and outs of the brand's future. They're worried about their future. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm more concerned about the umbrella.
You feel like in the music industry, a lot of people that have, it's people that have good placements, you know what I'm saying, they have brands, but they don't have that professional representation that can actually communicate. You know, when people be like, you owe me this money and all this shit, and not handling business. I feel like that's one thing that's in this industry, people, they don't have that a lot of times, like a real professional, because they don't understand they have a real professional business. So it doesn't matter how unprofessional you are or where you come from, you need that representation to actually get the job done.
Once you, the minute you saying, I want to be a producer, that means you're a salesman. Because you're making beats. You have to sell these beats. You know what I'm saying? At that moment, you're a businessman. Selling beats, that's your business. How do you run a business without employees? It's not that easy, you know what I'm saying? So that's why you hire managers. That's why you hire assistants. That's why you hire accountants. That's why you hire lawyers. This is your employees. These are people that work for you. You pay for this services from these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't work for them. So it's definitely important that you build yourself a strong team in business around you, because your shit gonna fold if you think you can just run that shit yourself. You know what I'm saying? And back to what I said, personality. If you don't got that personality to get shit done, shit ain't gonna get done. In the sense of saying, like, if you're not aggressive, how you gonna get your money?
Thanks. Thanks.
Please?
Exactly. So how you gonna run a business by yourself if you're not even aggressive? People gonna walk all over you. You need somebody on your team that's gonna be aggressive for you then. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta know yourself and know where you lack and what you need and fill those voids. That's highly important.
I seen on social media, somebody was saying like 808 Mafia, and it was 808 Mafia and another producer shaped like the sound of the industry for the past like 5 or 10 years, something like that, right? How does 808 Mafia as a team continue to lead the sound and make everybody else have to follow 808 Mafia? Like, just continuously, not from back then, but just the sound of today is kind of like...
Just being innovative. not being afraid to try different things, and understanding the assignment. Like, we understand the assignment. Like, we're producers. That means we're supposed to push the culture forward, not stay stagnant. You know what I'm saying? So the only way you're going to do that is by trying different things. Of course, we're going to use 808s, but we're going to try them in different ways. Of course, we're going to use hi-hats, but we're going to try them in different ways. Same thing with snares. You know what I mean? It's all about just trying something different. Even if it don't make sense at the moment, it'll catch on. And that's where you know you're ahead of the time. When you're doing something that everybody don't really understand right now, but then they catch on later, and then you realize you've been doing that. Like, where y'all been? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing that. So stay ahead. And like, our influx, like, I think we saturate artists with so much material that you don't even know what the next sound is gonna be, because we trying shit. So think about it. If I decide to make 10 beats today, right? I wanna make this one type beat like this, then the second beat, I want to make it totally different from the first one. Third one, totally different from the first two. So now I end up with 10 beats, sound totally different. Some of them I might have just been experimenting with shit, right? You send that pack off to an artist. Now, just because an artist gets a beat in January doesn't mean he's going to use that beat and put it out in February. You know what I mean? He might record to the beat in January. He might not record to it till June. He might not put the song out until next June. So you talking about a beat that you made 2 years ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, now just being released. Now you also looking at it like 3 years ago, I remember that pack. I was just trying shit. I was just experimenting. But Future or Drake just put out a record to that beat. You know what I mean? To that beat you did 3 years ago. It was some wild, weird shit. Now it's out. Now everybody hear it. Now it's something new to everybody's ear. It's old to you, because you know you did that a while ago, but to everybody else is new. So now everybody like, damn, this is new. That's the wave. Yo, I got to go home and try some shit like that. You heard what he did with that 808? Damn, I got to go home and try that shit. So now everybody trying shit that's new, and it becomes a wave. You feel me? But you was just trying something, but people don't know that. So sometimes we just be creating waves, just trying to be different. You know what I mean? So that's how you stay ahead. And I feel like anybody has that ability, but I think a lot of people are scared. Because if you're a producer coming in this game, I feel like everybody feels like they have to follow what's kind of going on. You know what I mean? Instead of saying like, yeah, I see what's going on, but that's going to die down soon. I'm going to come with this shit over here. They going to catch on to this. They going to eventually fuck with this. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to gamble on that because they want to play the safe zone. So they saying, shit, I'm going to just cook up the shit that I know they like. I'm going to cook up the shit that I know they already been using. Like, that's not pushing the game forward. You know what I'm saying? If you just keep giving the artist the shit that he's used to rapping on, how is he growing as an artist? Because he gonna keep picking it. He like it, right? But you gotta challenge artists by sending them different shit. We're the producers. We're the ones who's like shaping this shit. So you gotta challenge motherfuckers sometimes. I've been in the room, I'm telling you, where a producer will play a beat for an artist, and the beat necessarily will not be a beat that the artist will use. But they'll be like, yo, run that shit back. Yo, bring that beat back. That shit sound crazy. Next thing you know, they going in there trying some shit. And you like, damn, I would have never sent this nigga this beat. But this shit came out hard. And it's crazy because I was just with DY and Trey Pounds last night, and they was talking about a placement they just got. And they was like, I would have never sent this beat, because they was tracking the beat out to send it, the track outs. And they was like, this beat whack. And like, they shitting on the beat themselves. Like, this beat whack. It be these beats that niggas be picking. But think about it. It's a whack beat to you, but you sent it anyway, clearly. That's why he picked it. That's why you just never know. So you just gotta send anything at this point. You just never know what a nigga gonna fuck with. You might send a nigga some weird R&B shit, and this nigga on some hard trap shit, but he might be like, oh, I wanna rap on this shit. That shit might become a wave now. Especially if that shit pop, right? Everybody gonna be wanting to, like, oh nah, niggas be on this R&B shit right now. This is a wave right now. You just never know what's gonna do it. You just gotta stay ahead and don't follow what everybody else doing.
That shit do make sense, like that R&B drill shit, like niggas doing the drill beat with the R&B sample.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck thought of that? Nigga, that shit crazy.
That's a wave. You know what I'm saying? Whoever originated that, I don't know who did, but whoever did, I know he's sitting back like watching other niggas do it now.
He probably just fucking around, did that shit on accident too, because they know what he was like, Oh yeah, this shit about to go crazy.
Exactly. That's literally just how it goes.
So I see you have a studio now. So I want to ask you, for any major producer that's getting royalty checks, and royalty checks enough to get a facility, is this something that's like mandatory to do, to have your own facility?
I feel like it just depends on your relationship. So some producers have artist to producer relationships, meaning like you're just locked in with that one artist. And wherever that artist goes, you go. Wherever, that artist needs a beat, you're the one who's supplying it. So if you just have one of those relationships, you kind of don't need it because you're kind of tied to somebody. But if you just somebody who's like trying to work with everybody, I feel like having a studio is definitely something you should do because you're providing more than one service. So as a producer, you're providing the service of selling the beat, but now you're selling time. You're selling space. You feel me? And that's what all artists need, right? So if you create a facility that people will like, definitely gonna boost your rate in the sense of like clients and how much business you get. Because you gotta think, like, artists come to Atlanta all the time. Fly in, come fuck around, they be looking for studios. A lot of studios be booked up. I know because even though I have a studio, we still be trying to get rooms to switch up the vibes. So we be like, yo, let's go book over here. But it should just be booked up. So imagine, like not to just throw Lane, this is just an example, might be like a Tory Lanez or something coming into Atlanta, like, yo, I need a studio. He might be like, yo, JB, I need a stew. Shit, JB might be like, shit, I got a stew. That turns in right there. You might fuck around and end up doing a whole album with him because you provided a facility and you got beats. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like it just works better when you have a facility where you can provide way more than just giving a nigga a beat.
So producers add more value to themselves by just giving the artist more value, not just the one thing with just beats, because it's like they're all over YouTube and shit. They everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Everywhere. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know how to explain it in a different way, but it's just more or less like I say it a lot, you're providing a service. And that's how you want to approach people. That's how you want to come to people. You don't want to look at it like you need them for your personal come up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, I need this placement so my resume can look better. Like, no, like, let's just work. I got these beats. I feel like these beats that I have could help make this album that you're working on better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And from there, it'll turn into whatever it turns into. But you have to approach people with just knowing that you're providing a service. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless these artists are just knocking at your door. You know what I mean? I don't know too many producers who living like that. Not too many, maybe a handful.
Yeah.
But I know artists just ain't knocking down on niggas' doors. So it's best to, if you have a facility, studios, stuff like that. Yeah. Especially if you have a studio that offers amenities. You know what I mean? Massages, some cool shit going on in there,
I said massages, nigga. You know a studio that do that shit, bro?
I mean, I ain't gonna put it out there.
This nigga, bro. I never heard no shit like that before, bro.
Off camera, off the record. But there's definitely like ways to make it to where people want to come to your shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm going, even if they don't want to use your fucking beats, fuck it, I got the studio. Come spend some money on this shit then.
You'd be like, I got some free Zah.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, you'd be surprised what could get a motherfucker in the room of yours. So.
Shout out Fuse, like this salesman vibe. Like a lot of producers got to go in and read some of that, and like just to not be in a box of like, I'm just gonna be rich off of just beats, and I'm fire, and like even artists, you know what I'm saying? Like just from hearing you talk about it, and just confirming for me, like we should all understand it. Even if you're not just a salesman, a complete salesman, you should just at least understand, because then you won't be running into, bro, I'm at the studio and they not buying no beats. Did you sell them beats?
Yeah.
Hell you mean you're not buying no, you got some value that make them feel like they need you?
Exactly.
Like,
and it's not even about, and that's another thing, like, all right, so when you use the word sales, you're automatically thinking in exchange of money, right? But that's not necessarily how it goes. Like, even if I gave you a beat for free, but I know the business is taken care of. Like, the splits and everything is still right. And you put that record out, that record is being streamed, which means it's being sold, which means I'm still selling something.
You converted them.
Exactly.
You converted them.
So I just look at it like, you can't be so hard on even if a dude does use your beat, look at it like, nah, he used my beat, I need my bread.
Right.
Yo, I need my bread. Like, you don't want to ruin that relationship like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not even your place.
Facts.
You're a creator. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, when you build your team, you supposed to have somebody in position to go get your bread. When artists be like, yo, Fuse, yo, how much for a beat? Yo, I have my people holler at you. Yeah, bet. Hey, there's no reason why I'm telling you a price over the phone or through text or anything like that. They gonna handle that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to provide the beat. That's my service. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah, I can negotiate. They ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like a lot of people like to handle the business themselves and they shoot themselves in the foot because they be like, yo, where my bread? You know, you gotta be patient. And every label don't work the same. Every label not just gonna give you a check the minute they say, yo, send the track outs. Every label not gonna give you a check as soon as the song comes out. Like sometimes you don't get paid for something for months after the song come out. Sometimes you might get paid before the song come out. Sometimes you get paid the week the song come out. It's just all different, you know what I'm saying? But you still have to be patient and just be, firm in understanding that you're gonna get paid. You're gonna get your bread. They're not gonna run off on you. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you got your stuff right and you're good. That's what lawyers are for. You know what I mean? And if the labels don't want to pay, there's other steps you could take. You know what I'm saying? But you don't gotta be like, nah, fuck this artist. Like, I'm not gonna ruin no relationship with no artist over no bread. Reason why? The artist is not paying me. It's coming out of his budget. The label's paying me. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the artist. I can't be calling the artist like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what's up with this bread? You ain't get my bread yet. Like, it has nothing to do with that person. You know what I mean? Like, your lawyer or your manager is supposed to be speaking to somebody at the label to get your bread for you. Artists is just being the artist. They just trying to get their music out. You just trying to get paid. I understand that, but it's not always gonna go the way you want it to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a part of business too. And as long as you understand that, there's gonna be highs with some lows. Everything is gonna be up and up, up and up, and keep going up. Like now, there's gonna be some drops. There's gonna be some droughts. There's gonna be some times where you just like, damn. But just keep working and just understand that everything that's meant to be is gonna be regardless. There's nothing you can do to alter that. It's already there. You know what I mean? Just keep working.
So what's some like bullshit you see on the other side that you see like young producers do that fuck up the business? Like, yeah, we can't work with this nigga again, or you tripping? I feel like they don't really know. Like, you get hype, right? You know what I'm saying? You 14, 15, you got a fucking Future record, so you hype it here, you know what I'm saying? Hey, when that shit coming out, hey, I seen you posted a cover. Is that just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't, so spamming the artist and tagging me if we did the beat together. Like, the artist don't want to be spammed with the post. And I don't want to be spammed with the post neither. Like, you could say produced by you and Fuse without actually atting me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could actually say, yo, I got this new Future record without actually atting Future. And I understand some people do it because they feel like if I at the artist is going to see that I was on the beat too. And that now we going to have a relationship. Right. Half these artists don't even be on their gram. And if it's a dude, he's probably not even paying attention to these producers. He's probably looking for bitches. Okay. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's a waste. You know what I mean? So that could be annoying, but I get it. You're hype. It's your first placement. You want the world to see that, yo, I'm on this record too. So I get it, but you just gotta play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day. And I know, like, especially for some people, like, there might be some instances a record might come out and a producer might not be credited. And they want to be credited, so they just spam the fuck out of social media, you know what I mean, saying that they produced it or whatever, but ain't nothing wrong with that neither if you by wanting to know people, wanting people to know you're part of the record. But I just look at them like, when you look up album credits or song credits or anything, like whoever's participated on that record, their name is there.
You even got the recording engineer on the nigga.
So that's why I just be like, it's never that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like your information is there, but you know some people are more or less like clout chasing, so they want. But I see it from all aspects because I know like your name could get you in rooms too. You know what I'm saying? So like you know like with the tag thing, you know what I'm saying? Like you might put out a record with a producer and they like you know they might give you a melody and they're like yo put my tag on there and you don't put the tag on there and they might get mad, but sometimes you have to understand like two ways. Artists, a lot of them don't even want tags on the record sometimes, unless you were like a household tag. You know what I'm saying? 808 Mafia. Hey, take Key, fuck these niggas up. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo Metro. Like these are household tags that you just hear on random records, but you know, like you just play an instrumental and you hear that tag, you gonna want the beat. Just cause the tag on it. You know what I'm saying? Those type vibes. But a lot of people, I done gave people records with my tag on it. They took the tag off. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be on there all the time, but I don't get mad. I don't be hitting the artist. Yo, why you take my tag off? What the fuck? That's some bullshit. Like, that's just me. You know what I mean? Like, I know some tags change some niggas' lives, so I can understand why some people will go so hard for their credit too. And I see it from both sides, but I just feel like what's gonna be is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you gonna blow, you gonna blow. At the end of the day, like nothing's gonna come in the way of that. Like what's meant, like I say, what's meant for you is meant for you. So some people be trying to force it. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen some people try to force it for years and still don't got the household name. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I said, it's just what's for you is for you.
So man, let's get into the juicy shit, bro. Like I ain't gonna cap. I've been seeing a lot of like niggas mad at their labels, artists mad at their labels. I seen young boys just post like fucking Atlantic. Who else? Someone was like, "Fuck this label" and shit like that. But I seen you posted on Twitter. You was like, 11 years and never signed a publishing deal. Are you against them? How you feel about them?
I'm not against publishing deals. It's all situational. You know what I'm saying? I know publishing deals are no different from record deals. It's just our version for producers. You know what I mean? You're signing away shit. You're signing away rights. You're signing away all types of shit for an advance. So at the end of the day, I just look at it like this. There's a number. And that number is called an advance, right? That advance is what they feel you're worth or what they feel you can generate. If they already predict that, that means there must be a bigger number that they see. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to give you something to break even on. They're going to give you something where they can profit. So the number that you're getting is clearly... You know that's what you're worth, but you clearly know you're worth more than that.
Damn, I ain't think about this shit like that, bro.
You signing these rights and you signing this, you know, I look at it as like time is the biggest right you got. So if you sign these contracts and you call in this contract 3-5 years or, you know what I mean, for X amount of time, and you're not producing to meet the standards of your requirements, you're kind of in the red now. Now you stuck, you know what I'm saying? And all you could live off of is this advance. That money dry up, then what? You know what I'm saying? So I don't look for advances. I just know that I'm a producer. My records are out there. I physically can't collect my money. So I need to hire somebody to do that. So I go the admin route. You know what I'm saying? But that was also a game that Sizzle gave me. You know what I'm saying? Like Southside. Like I would have did a publishing deal back when I started. But Sizzle was like, nah, do admin. You know what I'm saying? So that's ever since then, I've been more a little educated on the admin side than the publishing side because I knew I didn't have to go there. I've known so many producers who went the publishing route and they're mad, pissed, tight, mad at their publishers. It's like all types of shit. Publishers will promise you all types of shit. They're some fucking salesmen. I'll be real with you. Like,
make you feel good as hell.
Make what? Welcome to the family. We're gonna have you in the room with this. We'll get you on this album. Oh yeah, we just got this dude, this placement on this album. That you know we hype like, oh word. Then you get that advance. The next thing you know, you sign to them. You over here wondering like, why do you keep having me in these bum ass writing sessions? Like it's just writing session after you in the room with 10 other producers and
Ain't even an artist, is a writer, bro.
yeah, like you're not even with the artists. You with just writers. Ain't nothing wrong with writers. Shout out to all the writers because I made hits with writers. I'm just saying, like, that's not what you're told. You know what I mean? They're not telling you, like, yo, sign with us. We're going to have you in here with all the top writers. That's pretty much what you're going to be doing. But that's, you know what I mean? They're not saying that. They're like, you know, they're selling you a vision. They got pictures of fucking Drake and Future and all these niggas on the wall. Got you thinking like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's down with our publishing company too. And that's another thing. Like, they got artists signed to pub deals too. And you would think because you're signed to the same company that it'll be a better relationship getting in contact with these people. It'd be games around that shit too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say just don't chase the dollar. You know what I mean? Like, chase your goals. If your goal is the dollar, then clearly you're doing your job then. But if your goal isn't the dollar, don't chase the dollar. The dollar gonna come.
Okay.
It's gonna come. I tell people this all the time. The money gonna come. Most people don't see it that way. Cause they just look at it, cause they looking at other people's lives and it looks like their lives is a little bit on fast forward and yours is like on pause or something. But no, you're moving your pace. Okay. When it comes, it's gonna come. When your time come, that person that you was looking at that was on the top might not be on the top when you're on the top. So you can't look at it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this nigga on the top, I'm trying to get there too. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's gonna come. So I just try to tell everybody that too.
What about locking in with like producers? Like I see a lot of producers, really like sample makers, saying like, bro, I'm not finna lock in with this nigga exclusively, bro. Fuck that nigga. I'm finna sing to everybody. Like, how do you feel about like just locking in with this producer? Like, if you want to sign a dude and like, yo, lock in with me.
I mean, it's a commitment. But the thing about me is I'm not the type of person that's like, think about this. Like, it just makes sense. Like, why would I tell you you can't work with other producers if you sign to me? Yeah, you're exclusive. That means just the stuff you give me is for me. You can still make shit for other people. You can still work with other people. Still do stuff with other people. Some people be in situations where everything they do has to come through that channel first, and then if they don't want it, they be like, all right, you can send it out. But for me, it's just like, I wouldn't even operate like that. I want you to work with other producers. Shit, if you sign to me, that means anything you do, I'm attached to it. So that means if you over there working with Joe or whoever, whatever producer, and y'all make a hit and that shit go crazy, I'm part of that too. You know what I'm saying? It's not just you. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to flourish. I want you to be bigger than me. You feel me? Yeah. So I just look at it like, shit, it's not even about like just keeping niggas exclusive and away from the world. You know what I mean? I want you to, the whole world needs to hear that. Work with everybody, you know what I'm saying?
That's facts. That's facts. So we got this segment called Overrated, Underrated. Basically, we give you a topic and you say if it's overrated or underrated, and then you just gotta say yo why. We got some hard ass topics. This one gonna be hard right here. Mixtape era. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated.
Hell yeah. I say that shit all the time, bro. That shit was tough, bro.
That was my life changing. You know what I'm saying? With just doing mixtapes and working with artists. Like, it just opened doors because a lot of the artists that I work with on mixtapes, they weren't in big situations yet. You know what I mean? Like, I worked with Gunna before Gunna was Gunna, you know what I mean, to the world. Working with Thug before Thug was Thug to the world, you know what I mean? Like, working with Chief Keef before Chief Keef was Chief Keef to the world and people, shit like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's dope to work with artists from the ground up, you know, especially on that mixtape level. You know what I'm saying? Cause mixtapes was going viral. Mixtapes was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Every week you hearing about a new nigga with a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that shit was fire. But a lot of these artists, then now they're in bigger situations, and because you already built that rapport with them from the mixtape era, it's more or less like, yo, I know you got some shit. Come on, let's keep working. You know what I mean? It's like me and Guwap. You know what I mean? Like, I know I could just give Guwap a beat any given time, any year. Because we already established something from the mixtape era. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am not coming to him as some new producer.
So let's talk about like working with an artist. A lot of times when we do the interviews, we ask producers about it and they say, yeah, you need to build up with an artist and stuff like that. And I see when I was going through your credits, like you have a lot of stuff for artists like right before they pop, when they was in that working stage. But like, what is ways like a producer could actually help promote an artist when you building with them? You know what I'm saying? Like ways you could help, you know what I'm saying? Like, help they brand besides just the beat? Like, what's other ways you could source with them?
I think you definitely, like, shout-outs go a big way. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people that wasn't even signing me or even attached to me, and I could just like a record, just post it, like, yo, this record fire. Now everybody going to that person page, checking out the record, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think like shout outs, mentions, and, you know, videos could help, you know what I mean? Doing videos together in the studio type, working together type stuff, you know what I mean? To make us, you know what I mean? You want to paint that picture that you active. You know what I mean?
Man, I ain't gonna count. Who started the wave of like producers being in music videos?
Shit, might have been. Well, the only reason why I would say JD, like Jermaine Dupri,
Yes.
because he was writing his artists' stuff and producing it and being cameos in the video. So I would say JD, to my knowledge. But Diddy, I think he was the first one to start dancing. He was the first producer to be dancing in the videos. But nah, like, I think those two are the pioneers of that. But I think that's fire. Producers being in the video with the artists.
Hey, having that brand right there.
That's huge. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's people who sit on YouTube watching videos all day. Okay. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing. That cameo goes a long way, believe it or not. You know what I mean? Because people watch videos and they get familiar with faces.
Okay.
They be, yo, I seen you in that video. Yeah, you know what I mean? Be stuff like that. So definitely putting artists putting producers in videos. That's definitely huge.
So what artists do y'all have right now that y'all working with, or just, you know, on y'all team?
I think we all have our own separate artists, all of us in the group. But, you know, I know we heavy with the, you know, Sizzle rap. So he's like the main 808 Mafia artist. You know what I'm saying? He got an album coming out. A lot of people don't even know that.
Man, when that shit dropping, bro? Like, come on, man. Niggas be waiting on it, man. Come on, man.
I don't know what Sizzle waiting on. He on his Dr. Dre shit. You know what I mean? Well, taking years to put something out.
But it be like that sometimes, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it ain't about, like, we need to drop songs. Like, you want to have that album, like, Astro World, like, you know what I'm saying?
Perfection. Or something close to it.
Yeah.
Sizzle go crazy.
We used to go crazy. We used to drop Free Agent 1. We did Free Agent 2, Free Agent 3. We did
4. Y'all did 4?
Yeah, we did 4. We did Young Extravagant, nigga, that tape. We did a lot of tapes together, like. So it's not like he can't pump out music, but at the end of the day, like, I know he wants to put out something that's gonna make everybody be like, damn, this shit fire. Instead of, you know, you don't want people to, you know, put out an album, people like, oh yeah, it was cool. You know, oh, that shit was trash. You know what I mean? You want people to be like, nah, that shit was fire. I see why he took so long.
You gotta do that shit too, especially if you take long, because if you take too long, then you drop, niggas be like, damn, we done waited for this shit.
That's the only thing. Like, when you take too long and people are anticipating, the bar is going higher, higher and higher of expectation. And people will expect you to meet that bar of their expectation when you drop. So it's kind of like, you gotta come with it. But Sizzle, yeah, he coming with the shits. You know, Pyrex, you know what I mean? We got G2. I got my own artists. I got Eastico. I got Young Jizzle, OE Jizzle. Yeah, we going crazy this year. You know what I'm saying? A couple situations and a lot of dope music. And as an artist, I mean, as a producer, you know, I stand firm on it that you got to break an artist. Got to. It's just one of those written rules to be stamped, solidified as a producer. Got to break an artist. And it doesn't even have to be an artist that is signed to you. It's just, it could be a new artist that's signed to a label that, you know, nobody really heard of or not like that. But the record you produce for them breaks them to the world. That's, I think every producer needs that. And if you're not breaking artists, you just gotta be a consistent heat maker, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. I feel like someone who killing that shit right now is Forever Rolling, ESTG. That relationship, them niggas going stupid, right? Every record, like, they just going, you Forever Rolling, like, every record, bro. That shit hard.
That's hard. Nah, shout out to them, for real. Shout out to actually all the producers out there doing their thing. So many of them. I love all of them, too. Like, there's nothing more satisfying to me than knowing that I was part of something that helped influence the young niggas coming up. You know what I'm saying? They tell me all the time, yo, OG, man, I grew up on your shit. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Your shit hard. Like, that shit just made me happy because, like I said, I never even saw this as being a career. And for the fact it turned into a career, and then I had actually an effect on people, you know what I mean, through music, that's huge. So I already know the next generation is going to have the same effect. Okay. They're going to be, you know what I mean, changing people's lives with their music. So I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I don't turn nobody down. I'm always listening for new producers, always listening and always looking to put people on game. I'm big on that. A lot of producers in this game, like they could watch a nigga going through some real fucked up shit and not even want to help him. You know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't put him on no game. Nigga might be in some shitty paperwork. You might just sit back and be like, damn, well, what it really is a crab in the barrel effect. And it's also like, you don't want to see another person do better than you or get bigger than you. So if they in a fucked up situation and your situation better, you gonna feel a little bit better because your situation better. But I don't see people saying like, yeah, my situation Gucci, I want him Gucci just like me.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not too much of that. It's more or less like, well, shit, that's his problem. You know what I mean? And that's never me. Like I tell producers all the time, you see me in the street, I don't care, Walmart, I don't care if we in motherfucking Foot Locker, Lennox, I don't care if I'm at a game. If you see me and you want to ask some advice, I'm gonna give you advice. I'm never too busy to put you on game because there was things in this game I had to learn on myself. And I wish there was people I could have asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it wasn't always there. So I always say, ain't nothing. How you gonna, closed mouth don't get fed at the end of the day. So something you want to know, you better ask. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the opportunity to ask is right there in front of you.
Bro, that's a strong statement right there. Closed mouth don't get fed. I ain't trying to leak too much about the Young Icy interview, but we was doing the joint with him. He was saying, like, bro, only reason why I got to talk to Future because my brother said something. Hey, can I take a pic of you? You feel me? Like, sometimes you just got to speak in that moment. You feel me? Because, like, I hate the goddamn 5 minutes later, you're like, damn, I might never see this nigga again. Situation might never come again. I ain't say shit. Like, that's the worst feeling in your stomach, bro. Like, what could have been? You feel me?
I keep it real. I'll tell you a real story. And, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of artists I did work with, and there's a lot of artists I didn't work with. Right? So, I mean, I'm sure I have records with Lil Baby that, you know, through certain channels just were produced and they probably just haven't just really been released yet. But I have never really been on a one-on-one with him on a work-related level. You know what I'm saying? But there was a time where I was with Moneybagg Yo at a concert and we backstage and we chilling. Everybody chilling. I remember I was on my phone just macking. Lil Baby he walks up and he just like right here. Just literally standing next to me. And it was like, I was like between him and a girl. The girl was like right here and he was right here. And they wasn't like communicating or I really wasn't even really paying attention. But what I realized in that moment was I sat there with my phone in my hand and watched Lil Baby stand right next to me and him walk away without me saying a motherfucking thing. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even about ego because I didn't feel like, yo, he should have known who I was. It was just closed mouth don't get fed. If I felt like me and him should be working, I should have said something.
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing. So because I didn't seize that opportunity, now I still have to go through other channels to get to him instead of that direct. So that's why I say, like, a closed mouth don't get fed. Sometimes you just gotta seize those opportunities, those moments. You know what I mean? One of my boys saw Drake in the airport. Real story. Other people might have just been starstruck. Like, oh shit, that's Drake. Probably just kept it moving. Probably seen Drake with mad security. He got too much security around him. I'm good. I'm not gonna go over there. Nah, my boy was like, nah. I walked up on Drake. Like, yo, what's up? Yo, I made beats. Da 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 da. They exchanged numbers. Now he's able to just text the beat to Drake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's a real story. But that would have never happened if he didn't say nothing. If he didn't have the faith to walk up to him and be like, yo, this is just a real thing. Like,
I ain't gonna count, bro. Let's say if I see the baby somewhere. Nah, bro. Hey, yo. I'm right here. I ain't coming out, nigga. Hey, I got beats. Nah. Stay up. I'm good. I got beats. Fuck that, bro. They even a body slam my ass, nigga. Hell nah, bro.
nah.
You like beats, nigga?
I don't think they be on it like that.
The producer tries to get Lil Baby beat.
Bro, what
You
call
will go viral, you got beat up.
You know what I'm saying? Producer got to ask me beats. For producer grind? Oh, we got his ass up on the ground, nigga.
Just be quick with it. You know what I mean? Don't be too drawn out. Yo, listen, I got beats. Got a number or email? That's it.
Okay.
Straight to the point.
That's how it be with A&Rs. Like, hey, I got beats. Just give me your email number and just go on about my business. You know, hey, I just dropped a pack. I just dropped another pack. Like,
Yeah.
just keep it business, you feel me? Bro, so let's talk about the tape area, bro. I really want to talk about this. So, like, best tape, like 808 Mafia, like tape. When I say 808 Mafia tape, I mean like all the future tapes, like G Herbo tape, like top 3. What would be your top 3?
56 Nights.
Okay.
I don't want to misquote the album, but I believe it was Diary of a Trap God 2, Gucci.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I had that on repeat like crazy for me. And then I like the Wizard album by Future.
Yeah, what's your top 3?
Future?
I'm just saying like projects, 808 Mafia associated projects.
56. Y'all did something on Monster.
Yeah, Monster. Yeah.
Monster. And not the Evo, not that one, but it's like the one before. What was one right before that?
Talking about the
It's like
purple.
cover. Not
yellow.
no, Purple Rain.
Purple
I
Rain.
like Purple Rain. I'll leave it there. I wasn't saying
For real?
Purple Rain.
You know what? I think I'm gonna add. You know what? I'm gonna change mine up.
You feel me? He was melodic, but he was trapping too.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna change my 3 up. I'm gonna change mine to Purple Rain. I'm gonna change it to 56 Nights, which I already said, and Super Slimy.
Super Slimy.
Those are my
When I
top.
hear Purple Rain, I just think about that wicked. Think about niggas hitting folks and shit, just dancing.
Nah, Purple Rain has some joints on there, so
But what was the one with DJ Esco, bro?
that was
It's a blue.
They dropped it during like the summer,
It's
with the
black
alien
blue on
cover.
there.
I know what you're
Married
talking
to the
about.
Game on there.
Yeah, that's like my top one. You feel me? That one. I feel like Swervo was so underrated with Southside.
Oh,
Swervo?
Swervo was
Yeah.
fire.
That's crazy.
And then
Fire.
third one, bro. 30 Spray too.
30 Spray too?
30
Yes,
Spray
too.
too.
And that's a classic too.
That's all the way up there. That's just it. That's just,
I don't know. I
you don't
mean,
think so?
No, I'm just saying, like, to just pick 3 is so many. It's so hard.
I'm
Like,
saying, though.
we on so many projects. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
you can't really pick 3. I need 4.
It's hard. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, crazy.
cause you over here mentioning like Evo. Evo was actually fire to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We wrote down
It
hard,
was
bro.
fire, it was
They got one joint. What's like fly shit only?
Yeah, flash it only.
That shit fire.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think that was Sizzle and Spins who did that. Shout out to Spins. I mean, you know what's crazy? I like the Demons Are Us.
Bro, that's what I was finna say. That's when
Demons
that
Are
was
Us.
like
Little
crazy.
Boy and Southside. That
Yeah,
project
that was
went
crazy.
crazy.
I'm dumb as fuck for not thinking about this shit,
I was
bro.
running that whole project through. Like,
Yeah.
Yesterday with Chippy Red, stupid, nigga.
yeah.
Stupid.
Yesterday,
Hell yeah.
And I like the project out there with Currency, to be honest with you.
Want to
Bro,
talk
I
about
still
that,
heard
bro.
that.
I want to talk about that.
Currency, Spring Clean.
I need to hear that.
What's your favorite record from there?
It'll probably be the intro song.
How you link up with Currency on that?
I'm one of the people who go through like my beats,
Mhm.
and I just like, damn, this sound like a beat that whatchamacallit will get on. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it was for me. It was like, probably came across like 3 or 4 beats. I was just like, I could hear Currency on these joints.
Yeah.
I just DM'd them. I was like, yo, bro, we gotta work. You know what I'm saying? And it was just literally mutual. It was just, oh, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell yeah, this work. So we started working on that project, and it took like almost 2 years to complete. Back and forth, emailing and everything. Then we wanted to get in the studio and give everybody, you know, like visuals of, you know, us creating, but COVID hit, like, what was that, 2020? Like, beginning of 2020, end of 19. And we really couldn't get in the studio, but, I mean, it was still a solid project, you know what I'm saying? Currently working on the next one right now. So, I mean, but that's my dog. Bumped into him a couple times at the Louis store. That's my dog. But I just think, like, a lot of people didn't know what to expect when they heard that album. I guess they thought he was going to be rapping on, like, a bunch of trap beats and stuff like that. But I think people forget, like, I'm from New York, so I don't make just trap beats. I make all types of stuff. You know what I mean? So I gave him a variety of different vibes on there.
Man, nigga just flex. Like he said, don't forget I'm from New York, nigga. We got to do that shit for real.
Nah, not that. It's just that, you know, the minute you say you from the South or, you know, you produce for certain artists from the South, they just throw you in a box.
Right.
You know what I mean? I hate that. I hate the box, man.
Trapping all day.
How you feel about like New York drill? Like you into it?
Yeah. I fuck with the drill.
You
Yeah, that's cool.
I was just diving into that shit, bro.
I like it. I guess I know that sound was more like a London thing.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
I knew, like, I used to listen to Skepta and stuff like that. Like, I knew they was on that vibe. But for New York, I think is actually good for New York. Cause there was a time when New York was just quiet, man. I keep it real. And anybody from New York, if you a real New Yorker, you know it got quiet. Like we ain't have nothing. Like not saying nothing, but we ain't have too much. You know what I mean? Like the South was just pumping it out. You know what I mean? Like those artists coming out from everywhere, but New York. You know what I mean? New York was just recycling the same names.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a sound no more. New York started trying to get on the trap shit. New York used to have a sound, but then, you know what I'm saying, it was more or less like, damn, South killing. Let me jump on A-Wave type. You know what I'm saying? But the drill part of the New York thing, I think is dope because it's kind of giving us our own little sound. Even though it's not, like I said, it's not originally our sound, but I think New York adopted it and embodied it so much that you look at it as a New York thing. You know what I'm saying? Like back when drill was just drill music, you just looked at it as Chicago. That's Chicago thing. They do drill music. You know what I'm saying? But and now everybody do drill music, but now there's a type of drill music. Now there's types of drill. Yeah, there's types. So with all these subtitles now, it's just like, cool, we got one, but I think it's just dope because you're not hearing people in Atlanta do that. You know what I'm saying? You're not hearing people in LA do that. So with that being said, I like the fact that we have something that we could just hold on to. Like, nah, we got this then. We cool. You know what I mean?
How you feel about like the A Boogie, Lil TJ sound for New York, that melodic sound?
I think it's cool. Melodic, melody is the key to music, man.
Yeah.
Melody is everything, man. I love melody. Like I say, even as a drummer, you know, drums make you want to. But melody, man, that shit speaks to your brain. Shit speaks to your soul. Like, so I feel like when you singing, you're basically doing something that you potentially trying to capture the ears of a lot of people with melody. Cause melodies, you gotta think that resonates with people more than a drum would.
Facts.
Little kids can hum something. You know what I'm saying? Old folks can hum something.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Animal, birds.
Exactly. Everybody not gonna understand the boom, boom, boom and the 808, but when you come with something to singing, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's definitely a good factor to add into your music. So being melodic, that's not a bad thing. Shit, 50 was melodic. Ja Rule was melodic. These niggas made millions. They made more money than off of niggas that wasn't melodic. You can't, it's apples and oranges. You can't even compare it. A rapper who's just straight rapping compared to dudes who are being melodic, can't even compare the two. That melody gonna kill you every time.
It's big game. It's big game. Shout out Fuse once again.
Yes, sir.
So I got some producer questions here from IG. I'm trying to go through them.
Yeah.
One person said, what's your favorite place to work at and why? Atlanta or LA?
To just work, if we're just talking about work, I would say Miami. But if we had to just choose between Atlanta or LA, I would say LA. Because it's similar to Miami vibes, palm trees, you know.
So Miami music scene deep like that? Like that shit. I never been, bro.
Well, it's not even about music scene. Like when I look at work, when people say, yo, where you like to work, or when it comes to work, I look at it as me sitting down in front of that computer making beats. That's a part of my work, you know what I'm saying? So I look at it like, if I'm gonna just go somewhere where less distractions, more scenic, different vibe, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna work somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, home is where my heart is at, but this is where I come and get the work off. You feel me? I work everywhere else, create, and everything I created, I come here and dump it off. You feel me? Because this is pretty much the melting pot of all the hot shit. Atlanta right here, you know what I'm saying? So that's just, if I had to choose between two, I'll say LA. As you see, LA on the hat.
I ain't gonna lie, I just been out to LA. We just came from LA on my second time. First time was in August. I fought with the vibes. Like, the studio's hard out there in LA.
LA is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
Psst, the people, the vibe, the culture.
I feel like the quality a little more top tier. Like, just like the engineering gym, shit like that. You feel me?
So it's so close to like the movie industry. You know what I'm saying?
Fact. One thing I don't like about LA is just pretty ass city, but it's dirty as hell.
They got a lot of...
You be like, it's like night and day sometimes. You be walking, it's like, damn, this crazy. And it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, the homelessness. Crazy. Yeah, I mean, I wish, you know, whenever they figure that out, if they ever figure that out, I think it will make LA way more appealing. But I think that's pretty much the only flaw. When I'm in LA, I mean, I'd be like, damn, this too much homelessness.
Yeah,
There's homelessness everywhere, but out there they got like
it's
strips,
different.
just homeless people.
I feel like they be higher out there.
Yeah, it'd be crazy, but man, that's one of my favorite cities.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I grew up like, growing up from New York and being young and watching Tupac and Biggie and watching them beef and thinking that LA was just off limits. You know what I mean? Like, cause you just from New York. So it's like, nah, I'm from New York. Fuck that, I ain't going to LA. You know what I mean? But that is the most ignorant thing a person from a state that you don't own could adopt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to travel, you got to experience different things. And I swear, when I got to LA, it was like I was home for real. I felt like I was home. Like, I felt like everything about me was LA. You know what I mean? And then, I don't know. I would live there, but ooh-wee. I don't care how much money I make.
Hell nah.
Ooh-wee.
That shit expensive in here, bro. No cap. Next producer question. Person asks, talk about the Rick Ross record.
Which one?
I guess you could talk about back to block.
Back the block. I went to his crib. I went to Rick Ross' crib.
The nigga said that shit casual, like, y'all just pulled up. The nigga said pull up.
Yeah, I was at the crib and just play some beats for that particular song. Just play some beats and I think who hit me up? I think it was my boy E-Mix. He was engineering for Rick Ross at the time. Hit me up for the track outs, and he was like, "Yo, this joint," but I didn't know it was gonna be a single. And then it came out, it turned out to be a single. And then he shot the video, and I was like, damn, like a little mini movie to the video and all that. So I was like, this shit hard. So yeah, I like what that turned out to be. Then he did a remix to it, and he had Fat Joe on there. He had not Bun. He had what's his name? He had Nipsey on there, Slim Thug on there, and E40. Yeah, he has all of them on the remix. So I shout out. I really appreciate that record because those are like 4 artists I probably wouldn't have worked with. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Nipsey if I was in LA working more actively around that time, but I was really stationed out here. But Slim Thug, that's a Texas nigga. Fat Joe, he in Miami. Then you got like E40. I forgot where he's from, but like these dudes are like not even tangible for me right now. You know what I'm saying? So. I look at it like that's some dope names to add to my resume, you know what I'm saying, because of a record like that. So shout out to that Back the Block record.
What would you say is like your favorite record? Like your favorite record that you just did, the process, or you just like it because of the song? Like, what's your favorite? The
favorite sounding, like the one, I would say just the way like it sounds. Just, because I remember when I made the beat and then to hear somebody rap on the beat, just that effect. I would say it'll be Breadwinners by Young Thug.
Real one.
I would say that song, because that beat was just so erratic and weird. I was just trying mad different stuff, and I was like, oh, they picked it. You know what I mean? Like one of those things, like, damn, I didn't think they would use that. Cool. So, but my favorite record out of my whole catalog, it would have to be like Big Sean, Moves. Only reason I say that is because that was like legit my life changer. That was my life changer. Like I had records that came out that did stuff for me, opened some doors here and there, but that Big Sean, man, that Moves, that shit opened so many doors.
I ain't gonna count, bro.
When that came out, I was like, man, what is this?
Yeah,
that's how you vibing to that shit. Nigga.
It's so crazy because Southside rapped on that beat.
He did?
He did a song called Winning 3. He had a song. He put it out too. He had a song called Winning 3. It'd be so funny because like when Big Sean just dropped Moves and me and Trey Pounds would post it because he co-produced it with me, and like we'll be posting and people be in the comments like, yo, Southside Winning 3 better. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, like, you know what I mean? I remember I think Trey Pounds got up with Big Sean at one time, and Trey Pounds was telling me like, he, you know what I'm saying, he knew that Big Sean knew about the record and how people be spamming him with the same shit. Like, yo, Southside shit better. Like, come on, what's that about? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was all love still at the end of the day. But I would say that record because that changed my life and Trey Pound's life.
I ain't gonna count, bro. G Herbo, 100 Day, 100 Night. Nigga, that shit was the one with me, bro. Like,
yeah, you did your homework, man.
You know that record? That be this nigga.
I would say I don't know, man. I love that record. The only thing I hate about that record, like, I hate to say it, I just wish I was there for the mixing. Like, ain't nothing worse than like when a record come out and it's just not mixed right.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
You talking the beat? It changed the beat?
Nah, just like his vocals, like, you know what I mean? Like, it sounded like it just wasn't mixed right.
Hey, when that shit sound like a little box, like, you know.
Yeah, it sounded like he in the,
compression,
like,
you
you know,
feel
in
me?
like a
Compression
bathroom or like recording it somewhere other than a booth. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
what it sounded like. But the record, what he's saying, everything is fire. But I'm just so particular. I'm such a, I nitpick everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole world could love it. I'll find that one thing to make me not love it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's cool, but that thing, like, that's just how I am. But I'm more like that with my own stuff, not like other people's material, but my stuff, you know? I'm like, yeah, the snare could have been louder, man. I wish I was there when they mixed it. It'd be the little things like that. So
I mean, last question to really top it off is, when these vlogs coming back, bro? We were talking about this shit before the interview started. I was like, bro, when them vlogs, Black Metaphor vlogs, you feel me? When them shit's coming back, bro.
So I've been trying to like do so many at the behind the scene type shit. So it's more or less like, you know, we used to have the 808 Mafia TV. That was huge for us. We fell back off of that. But we have so much footage throughout the years of us just working and everything like that. Like, I remember I was chilling with the cameraman Chaps, and I'm like, yo, bro, what are we doing? But he's more or less like, man, fuck that. Let's just do the documentary. Because when I say years, I'm talking about years of footage that y'all just never seen. So I just like, all right. So kind of thinking like, for the 808 Mafia, we should do that, like, documentary-wise, instead of just going back to the 808 Mafia TV series. But for me, I know I get it all the time. Like, yo, we need some cook-up videos, more cook-up videos. Like, I know I haven't been that active. I apologize, you know what I'm saying, to the producer community. Been hearing it behind the scenes, getting all the backlash from all my peers. Yo, you gotta be active, man. We trying to see more videos. So I ain't even gonna lie, like, this year you're gonna see a lot more of it. I'm not even gonna cap. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just in a new headspace. A lot of good things has just been happening, you know, outside of producing, just, you know, the management company and the creative companies that we got. It's just, everything is just falling into place. So now I don't have to just, you know, be worrying about too many other things outside of my brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand I'm all for the 808 Mafia brand. I'm the vice president at the end of the day. 808 Mafia over everything. But Fuse is a brand too. And I understand that. You know, I definitely have to be more active out there. And salute to all the producers that are active, because y'all don't even know it, but y'all influencing me. Y'all motivating me to be more active. You know what I'm saying? I love watching y'all cook up, little tips, you know what I mean, on how to do certain things, or if y'all presenting y'all kits, and, you know, I watch all of that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I salute, take my hat off to all of y'all, because even when I was coming up, I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I felt like if I would have did it, a lot of other things could have been happening for me this present day if I just would have been more social. Because a lot of people don't think I'm social, because I'm not big on social media, and I don't have, you know, a bunch of YouTube and a bunch of videos everywhere. So they think like I don't fuck with people like that, but I do. I just be so busy, you know what I mean? And I think it's cliche to say you're busy. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm busy, but your boy really been busy. You feel me? So it's just like if I look at it like this, if it's on my plate, that means I can handle it.
But shit, I mean, that's a wrap, bro. Like I said, this was a long ass overdue interview, bro.
Yeah, you definitely gotta come back. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Do this
like
again.
Cook up, get something in, you feel me?
Yeah. You already know we locked in, so
Shit, that's a bet then. That's a wrap. Another podcast, we gone.
peace.